Hi guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Abby. This is my second year in youth group and I'm a sophomore at Hillsborough High School. My family actually goes to Mary Mother of God, but I go to youth group here because Ella invited me and I loved it. So the line from the prayer toast to talk about this week is, I give my feet to you. Help me to understand what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes. To me, this means that we can't just look at things from our perspective. There are always two different points of view. There are two sides to every story. Today, I'm going to talk about the 30-hour famine and what we can do during quarantine. We can connect this to the global pandemic right now, where we don't have access to many things we do on a daily basis. That first Saturday of quarantine, after our last day of school, I went to ShopRite with my dad. The shelves were so empty and it was chaos for anyone to find anything. They were out of toilet paper, obviously, because everyone wants it all, but also necessities for the pandemic, such as hand sanitizer, masks, wipes. When talking about walking in someone else's shoes, the 30-hour famine comes to my mind. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is when we sleep overnight at the church and we don't eat for 30 hours. During this, we raise money for World Vision and developing countries. During the course of the 30 hours, we do community service. Last year was my first famine, and to be honest, I didn't think I could do it. I was feeling real hunger for the first time in a long time, and no one doing the famine last year realized that it was our reality, that it was going to be our reality this year. And we truly felt what others feel on a daily basis. So last year for community service, we went to a small food bank in Perth Amboy. Basically what we did there is we sorted food on shelves and put them into bags for families. This was right after Easter, so we were handing out small Easter baskets to the little kids who were coming through. And I specifically remember this one little girl. I handed her one of the small Easter baskets, and she pulled out this small chocolate bunny that was in there. She saw it, and she just cried happy tears. It was obvious that she hadn't gotten anything like that before, and it was a rare occasion to get anything like that. I was handing out so many Easter baskets to so many kids, but she stood out the most. It seemed like such a small act to me, but she just was so grateful. I felt so good that I could help people like her. Even though we weren't eating, we were helping them get food so they could. I was in a position where I was hungry, but I was feeling what they were feeling. Hunger is like a physical hunger, not being able to eat, but we also have a hunger for God. We can't go to church and be with each other right now, but what we can do is stay in touch with God. There are more people looking for something bigger than themselves. Now more people are watching masses. The 8:45 morning masses went from 50 people to 350 viewers online. I found a quote from the Bible that I think goes along with this really well. It's from the book of Philippians, and it says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others." I'm going to read it again because I think it sends a really important message. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but to each of you to the interests of others. We need to remove our focus from ourselves in order to see the needs of others and to help them in the ways that we can. Just in Hillsborough, there are many ways that we can help out. There is one woman who makes masks and leaves them out on her bushes for people to take, whoever needs one. In return, people leave fabrics so she can make more. St. Joe's has a van open every Monday and Thursday collecting canned goods to the Hillsborough Food Bank. I didn't realize it during the famine, but donating food to food banks does a lot more than you would think. There is also the contactless food collection that Delaney mentioned earlier. Other people in our community are just collecting whatever they can, such as hand sanitizers or hotel soaps and lotions, and donating it to hospitals. They can't imagine what doctors and patients are going through, yet they still find a way to help. Some people are donating RVs to healthcare workers to give them temporary homes while they can't go back to theirs. Even though we couldn't do the famine and be together this year, we still have all of these opportunities to be with God and to do things for our community. The quarantine has helped us realize how difficult some other people's lives can be, and by doing community service and whatever we can, we are helping to take some stress off of these people during the hard times. When we break up into groups, we're going to talk about what we can do going forward and how we walk in people's shoes daily. But before that, we have Rhea, all the way from Florida, singing a song called Hungry by Sarah Catherine Scott.
Lord, You know us better than we know ourselves. We come hungry to you. For we know that you are the one that satisfies. So we lift this song up to you. Hungry, I come to you, for I know you satisfy. I am empty, but I know your love does not run dry. So I wait for you. So I wait for you. And I've fallen on my knees, offering all my needs. Jesus, you're all this heart is living for. Broken, I run to you, for your arms open wide. And I am weary, but I know your touch restores my life. So I wait for you. So I wait for you. And I've fallen on my knees, offering all my needs. Jesus, you're all this heart is living for. And I've fallen on my knees, offering all my needs. Jesus, you're all this heart is living for. So I wait for you. Yes, I wait for you. So I wait for you. Amen.
Amen.
Ria, thank you. So Ria's going to come back and play a couple more songs after. But here are the questions. So when have you walked in someone else's shoes, and what did you learn from it? What are you doing to change things in your family or community? And what can we do as a youth group to help people get through this this pandemic? What are some other things, just inspired by what Delaney and her mom have come up with? What are some other things we can be doing?